Morning, Wagwan family. Listen, I want to say this right here. Look for the good in every situation. Oh Lord, why are you breathing so hard in my face, bro? Look for the good in every situation and circumstance. Last week, my patience was tested so much. When I finished the video I made showing how I repaired the turbo on my truck, and I did a lot of other cleaning and preventative maintenance stuff, right? And so, how about last week? After I drove the truck, everything was good. The first day I drove it, no codes, no nothing. Well, last week I got a check engine light. Come on, I checked the code. It gave me some codes, and I got a separate video because I know it's going to help somebody figure this out. It gave me some codes, and I'm like, that's not, shouldn't be. So I put my computer on it, and I tried to clear the codes, and the code wouldn't clear. They kept coming back, coming back. They wouldn't clear. They just stayed there. So I knew it was an active problem. So I went back over and checked all my wiring and everything. I did everything right, right? So I called the manufacturer because the code that it was giving was showing that it was an issue with the turbo, and a generic code for the turbo, and then another code for the exceeded learning limit, which would state that the actuator, which was it's a box hooked on the side of the turbo, which means that there's an issue with that because that's the computer for the turbo. The turbo has its own computer. These trucks have really sophisticated systems. And so the actuator was sending a code to the ECM on the truck saying that something's out of whack. So I called the manufacturer, and they said, no, we calibrate those turbos. Don't come over here, What's going on? We calibrate those turbos. And so I was like, I said, well, I'm getting this code, it showed exceeded learning limit. He was like, well, what probably happened is when we run our test, we probably took the actuator off and tested the VGTs, tested the turbo, and when we put the actuator back on, he's like, we make so many of these, it can happen. And they've been in business for over 40 years, right? So accidents can happen. And he was like, why don't you just send the turbo? He's like, I send you another actuator, but I prefer you send the whole unit back. That means I would have to take it off, right? He's like, I'll send you a whole unit and you shouldn't have any more issues, because even if I send you another actuator, that's just going to waste your time if there's an issue inside of the turbo. And the truck was still running fine. I was getting turbo boost and everything. The exhaust brake on the turbo, which is the turbo activate and exhaust brake. And exhaust brake means that there's a switch you can turn on, and whenever you take your foot off of the gas, the engine automatically starts braking, right? And so everything was working. And so I said, well, I have a computer here. I said, I can do the calibration on my computer. I was like, but I'll take it back off. He's like, yeah, I think that'll be the best bet, right? And it's good that they stand by their product. So I took it back off. They shipped me one overnight. They had me one the next day. So I got it back on. I put the whole thing back on, and when you bolt up the turbo, I didn't have to do all the other work I did. The other stuff was just preventative maintenance, right? So it wasn't nothing for me to unbolt all of that stuff. So I unbolted it, and then I was able to, I think in my video when I shared how you install it, I said I was going to add studs at the bottom. So I was able to add studs at the bottom, which makes the bottom pipe easier. And like I said, I got another video just about this, but I'm showing how you look for the positive in a situation. And so I got everything unbolted, took an old one back, got the new one, put the new one back on. And then the codes, the one code, the other codes cleared themselves, but that one code for the actuator stayed on. Why you going in the sun, my tan? You're hot. Here, come here. Come here. Here. Yeah, stay over here. Why go lay in the sun and you'll know you're hot? Yeah. Stay right here in the shade. And so that one code for the actuator, say good morning. Say good morning. Say good morning. So the one code for the actuator, it stayed on, it wouldn't clear. And I put my computer on it, none of that, it wouldn't clear. I drove it, it wouldn't clear. So I'm like, this joker tell me that, I said, I know they're not gonna send me two bad units. I said, they're saying they calibrate this. I'm gonna recalibrate it. So I had to drain all the coolant back out, because you gotta drain the coolant so it doesn't get on the actuator. Because if it gets in the actuator, it could destroy the actuator, right? So I drained the coolant back out, took the actuator off, put my computer on it, and it starts to calibrate. And it tells you when to connect. I reconnected and everything, and it recalibrates the turbo on the computer. Then I put everything back together, add coolant, go dry the truck. The code is clear. Put a computer on it, no codes. The truck is even where I thought it was already running good. It had turbo boost, but with that second turbo, the exhaust brake stopped working. That's another thing I knew that calibration was off. Drove it, exhaust brake was working again, no engine lights, none of that. It's even running even stronger. So that tells me that it wasn't calibrated. And even though they say they calibrated it, whatever software, not discrediting them, they probably have a software that they use, but they don't have people's truck with them because they're sending you something from their manufacturer. They specialize in building these parts. They're not specializing in putting the part that they build on your physical truck on every individual vehicle and calibrating that, because every truck has the software is already programmed in your ECM. The calibrations is there. So putting it on the truck. So my thing is, okay, look at the good of the situation, because by that time my arm was sore. I'm lifting the heavy turbo off, I'm putting the new turbo back on, you know, and it was a lot, but I got it done. And the good of the situation was I had everything that I needed, and God gave me my health and my strength and the knowledge and the understanding to troubleshoot this issue. There are people who would have had to have spent thousands of dollars to pay someone to troubleshoot this issue, and sometimes they still don't, and sometimes the issues still don't get right. Shout out to my sister in Effingham who shared with me one of her friends. What you shared this with me, what, last week before last? One of her friends took his car somewhere, paid a guy lots of money, and he's still having issues and he's upset. You know, that could have been me. And so I look for the good in every situation where those people honored their product. It was just my patience being tested. The old me would have wanted to start fussing at somebody, but really, at the end of the day, patience is truly a virtue. I had to go back and take a part off and put a part on, which I wouldn't have had to have done that if, I didn't accept their word. But I was thinking that, well, these people make this product, they know. So in turn, it allowed me to gain knowledge about something, and also to help save somebody else in the future. And I also did something that I never did before. I never calibrated an actuator before. Even though I have a very sophisticated and high tech computer, there's still a lot of things on that computer that I've never used to do before. And so that was my first time. Even though I knew my computer could do it, that was my first time using the computer to do it. And for me to confirm what a certain code meant, it took me going through having to send back an original turbo and having the same issue. So now I know it's not a issue with the product, it's an issue with calibration, which lets me understand more about the codes that it give off. So yes, even though I didn't feel like doing all of that, I was patient, I was glad, I looked for the good in every situation. Whatever arose, God had already given me the knowledge, and I already had the resources I needed to fix the situation. Come here, Daniel. So look for the good in every situation and be patient. Be patient, right? It all works out for the good. I have more knowledge. I can share that knowledge with others. And I save thousands of dollars by troubleshooting my own issues. That's a blessing, right? And so, anyway, that's just my little 2 cents. Y'all have a blessed morning. It is getting hot out here. I'm about to rotate some tires now, and then I'm done. I really enjoyed my rest day on yesterday. I really relaxed and just took myself out to the spa and enjoyed some great healthy food, and just spent the day out with just me and God, and reflecting on life. You know, and I'm gonna finish up early today as well. I'm gonna get down to Healing Springs and get some water. But I'm gonna finish up early today as well and relax and do a lot of reading. So anyway, y'all have a blessed day. I got a bruise right there. No one hit me. I when I was lowering the jack on the truck, the bottle jack, and I was up under there, when I lowered the bottle jack, it fell. It's not as bad as it was, because it was worse than this. It was actually bleeding and it was really thick. But the bottle jack failed. It just missed my eye. And you know how, for those of you who know what a bottle jack is, you know how heavy it is. But it failed, and the metal piece clocked me right there. And so it's healed up really fast because it was bleeding and it was really, really big. But y'all have a blessed day. If nobody told you that they love you today, look for the good. Look for the good in every situation and circumstance, and give God the glory. He deserves it all. If it had not been for the Lord on our side, Tell me, where would we be? Where would we be? We know that the blood of Jesus is the only blood that has power. It'll never lose its power. And there will never be any other blood that's greater or more worthier than praise or that can break the bondage off of any of his people than that blood. All right? We are the light of the world. Let's don't ever let our lights grow dark, baby. We are a warrior people. There was a certain strength on the inside of God's people that is supernatural. And there are some people, they come around you, they feel that strength and they don't know how to process it and they get away from you. Then there are some, they come around you and because of their earthly and worldly titles, they feel your strength, but they see they have the titles and they feel the strength on you that makes them feel some type of way. They want to feel fear coming from certain people, but they'll never feel that fear coming from a child of God. They want you to know that they are better than you, that you are a subordinate to them, even if you have nothing to do with them because of their title. Their titles have gone to their head. Come here, Daniel. But a child of God, you walk around with the strength of your Father on the inside of you. And you don't try to puff yourself up and act like you're better than nobody. It's just that presence. That's why it says, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. We are truly a warrior people. Our strength is supernatural. Everything we need is on the inside of us. Believe it. Have a blessed day. I love you.